Shalom Betham. Good Shabbos to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us in person tonight. At the same time, Cantor and I want to greet all of our fellow Bethamniks and our visitors who are with us on live stream through our Betham website. Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom to each and every one of you as well. We are going to begin our Erev Shabbat service on page 9. We welcome our visitors. You'll find a copy of our Sidur, Mishkan Tfilah, in the pocket in front of your seat. We read responsibly these words on page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. And so we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We, on page 11, a tufa this evening, Ki Eshmara Shabbat, and I think that's going to be followed, correct, by Eile Chamdelibi.
So the only thing interesting about these two songs and the pairing of these two songs, so the Ki Eshmara Shabbat comes from the Yemenite tradition, and you'll hear it a little bit of the Sephardic, tone to it. But Eile Chamdelibi is a Hasidic tune, so I thought it would be interesting to do the celebrate our tradition, Sephardic and Hasidic. All right, enjoy. Sing loud. Ki Hashemer Shabbat El Yishmereini. Ki Hashemer Shabbat El Yishmereini. Ot hilewal beyot beinu uveini. Ot hilewal beyot beinu uveini. Ki Hashemer Shabbat El Yishmereini. Ki Hashemer Shabbat El Yishmereini. Ot hilewal beyot beinu uveini. Ot hilewal beyot beinu uveini. Hasidic tune. Eile Chamdelibi, Chusana ve'ala titaleim. Eile Chamdelibi, Chusana ve'ala titaleim. Eile Chamdelibi, Chusana ve'ala titaleim. Try it one more time. Eile Chamdelibi, Chusana ve'ala titaleim. 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 Eile Chamdelibi, Chusana ve'ala titaleim.
Oneg Shabbat, the joy of Shabbat is in large measure measured by the song in our hearts and the melody in our voices as we rise to prayer. Eile Chamdalibi and Kiyas Mara Shabbat. Thank you for that beautiful melodic introduction to our Erev Shabbat service. We invite you at this time, dear friends, please to greet one another with a Shabbat Shalom, with a good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom. And good Shabbos, of course, to all our visitors who are with us and our fellow Bethomniks on live stream as well. As we turn back now to page 3, Hadlakat Nerot LeShabbat, for the kindling of our Shabbat candles, it is our very great pleasure to call upon our dear friend Batya Reiber to please step forward at this time. And if you're able, we ask you please to rise.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Please be seated as we now continue with our beloved Erev Shabbat anthem, pages 20 and 21. For the benefit of our guests who are with us tonight, may I respectfully mention to you verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. 1, 2, 5, and 9, pages 20 and 21. Lachadodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat, nekabla.
So next week, our adult choir will join us for Friday night service, and they learned a new tune for Lachadodi, very simple. Actually, it comes again from the Sephardic tradition, and was this tune is written by the cantor Aaron Ben Sasson, and it's beautiful. We'll learn it in 2 minutes, and you will join with me in the refrain, and I hope you're going to enjoy it as much as the choir did when they learned this. Like this. Lachadoti likarat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla. Lachadoti likarat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla. Try it one more time. Lachadoti likarat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla. Lachadoti likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur rachad yishmiranu el ham yochad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'lit kila. Lachadoti לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי אם מקור כברכה בראש מקדם הנשוכה. So מעשה במחשבת גילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בין שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בין שבת נקבלה. כי תעוררי כי ברק ומיורי הורי שתברי כבוד אדוני עלייך יגלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בין שבת נקבלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בין שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלון גם בשמחה ובצוחלו תוכם עדי אמסגולה. בואי חלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בין שבת נקבלה לך אדוני לקראת כלה בין שבת נקבלה.
Masterfully executed. Both of you. Thank you. Thank you. A beautiful Lechadodi.
I think it's a nice addition to our
Absolutely.
liturgical repertoire.
Why not? Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Page 24. We welcome into our hearts and into our homes the Malachei Hasharet, God's ministering angels, giving each and every one of us, at least for a 25-hour period, a well-deserved neshama yetera, an additional soul that will tide us through the beauty, the tranquility, the sanctity of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lachem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yitkadol v'yitkadash meraba.
Amen.
Yalmati b'rakiroti v'yamlich melchuti v'chichon v'chonochet kol b'yet Yisrael.
Bagalo,
ובזמן קריב ויאמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולמי יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתחתר ויתעלה ויתהלל
שמי דקודשו,
בריחו,
לך מן כל ברכתו ושירתו,
תושבחתו ונחמתו, דמירון בעולמו, ויאמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני, המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד, לעולם, 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 לעולם ועד. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvitfuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmorotehem, barakia kirtzono. Bore yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, eu chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu, la'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבתו, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו Eloheinu, b'shachveinu ובקומנו נשיח בחוקך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובכם נחכה יומם ולילה ואהבת החול אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך וברוך שמו.
אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohechem Emet. So we read together at the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום בכל ידינו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום בכל ידינו שומרנו לחיים. ושמור את צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום ויתביעות עולם. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום בכל ידינו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום בכל ידינו שומרנו לחיים.
Together at the top of page 43, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל
את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. Page 47. Abraham Joshua Heschel reminds us that prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits and God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. As we rise for the tefillah.
Ananana svataya tiftach, ananana ofi agit tefilatecha, ananana Adonai, הננה שפתי תפתח, הננה אופי יגיד תהילתך. הננה אדוני, הננה שפתי תפתח, הננה אופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האלך הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גם מלך חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם, למען שמו בכבוד. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת צבא. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחייך כולתה, רב להושיע. משיב הרוח מוריד הגשם, מחלקל חיים בחסד, בחייך כל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשנה יפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ופתאום מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע. ונאמן אתה לך חיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יחללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלך הקדוש.
We continue Balachash silently tonight through page 60, at which point you're more than welcome to be seated, or if you prefer, to be seated now, through page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. אתה מלך הדור, לכל השלום, כי אתה מלך הדור, לכל השלום, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, נשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, נשים לעולם, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, נשים לעולם, שלום רב על ישראל עמך, נשים לעולם, נשים לעולם, נשים לעולם.
Tfilat Halev, the meditations of our heart. We pause for another moment or two of silent prayer, page 62.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו.
Together.
יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תיבי ויאמרו אמן.
Such a sweet melody.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Birkat Refuah, the prayer for healing, page 253. Misha berach avatenu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim hahem, hakorash baruch hu yimalei rachamim alehem, lachlimam urapotam ulahachzikam, v'yishlach mehera rufua shlema min hashamayim, ruafat hanefesh uruafat haguf, betoch sha'ar cholei Yisrael hashata ba'agla, ufisman kariv, v'nomar.
Amen.
Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal, as this Shabbat we now call to mind, Barry Abrams, Deborah Allison, Cynthia Baylor, Bruce Allen Bell, Jeff Chernow, Sandy Chernow, Sarah Cohen, Stephen M. Cohen, Andy Dorfman, Audrey Gelb, Bobby Glaberson, Lou Geddes, Stuart Geddes, Rita Jaffe, Mark Kogan, David Lieberman, Spencer Leibowitz, Stephen Litvak, Amanda McCall, Vagia Partieli, Harvey Ostroff, Penina Petesh, Bruce Petroff, Steve Porter, Kelly Quagliotti, Harav Rachel Bat Shmuel Ufruma, Rebetzer David Rachmiel Ben Sarah Valevi, Selma Romoff, Ruth Schindelman, Samuel Schloss, Sarah Penina Bat Aryeh Leib Vachaya Bela, Jerome Tesla, Beverly Tisdale, Cass Walsh, and Judy Weiss. If there are any other names that you'd like to publicly mention at this point, please feel free to do so if you would. Larry? Thank you very much. Linda? Thank you. Jay? Thank you very much. Rini? Thank you. Ephraim? Thank you. Bev? Thank you very much. Mark? Thank you. Jill? Thank you very much. Please remember. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Nancy? Thank you very much. Thank you. Sandy? May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and for their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send each a refuah shlema, a complete renewal of guf, of body, and of neshama, and of soul. And together let us say,
before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Losing it of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Shabbat Shalom, Betham. Good Shabbos to you, and we welcome our visitors and for their support this evening too. There was a time in the late Golda Meir's political career when her Labour Party colleagues implored her to accept the leadership of their party. Such a move, of course, would have resulted in her becoming the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. She initially refused. What was her reason? She didn't believe that she was sufficiently fluent in being able to speak modern-day conversational Hebrew. Now keep that in mind, if you would, as we turn to this Shabbat's glorious Sedra, Vayigash. So to tell you what's happening right now at the moment in this 4 consecutive Sidrot devoted to the life of Joseph, the most colorful, enduring, and endearing character, arguably, in the book of Genesis. After weeks of heightened tension and of fear, Joseph's long-lost brothers are finally standing before him. Now remember, he recognizes them, but they do not recognize him as, if you like, the prime minister or the viceroy of Egypt. Judah, the spokesman for the sibling clan, pleads for their brother Benjamin's life to be spared. Now don't forget that only Joseph and Benjamin are biological siblings, sons of their father Jacob's favorite wife Rachel. Joseph had desperately wanted to see his younger brother again. And so he devised a very clever ruse that ensured not only for Benjamin being brought down to Egypt, but once there was wrongfully accused of having stolen the viceroy's cup, vessel, thus forcing him to stay behind, presumably in captivity. It was admittedly a cunning, devious, yet brilliant strategic move on Joseph's part. So back to the plot, which many of us are aware of and familiar with. Judah and his siblings beg for mercy, if not for themselves, then at least for Jacob, their grief-stricken father left behind in Israel. And it's at this very moment, the moment when mention is made of the elderly patriarch back home, that Joseph can no longer maintain his ruse, nor for that matter, if you like, his regal composure. And what happens? He quickly orders the Egyptian officials out of the room, and then, left alone, completely alone with his brothers, he cries out, Ani Yosef, ha'od Avichai? I am Joseph. Does my father still live? Is my father still alive? The first question that he asks. Imagine, if you would, Betham, that dramatic scene. Try to capture the initial shock, the embarrassment, quite frankly, of Joseph's siblings. Again, so as to drive the point home, he declares a second time, Ani Yosef Achicha, I am Joseph. I'm Joseph, your brother. And so it begs the question, how did he convince them that he was indeed their long-lost brother Joseph? And it suggests, by the way, another tantalizing question too. Why, before Joseph revealed his true identity, did he demand that the Egyptian courtiers leave the room altogether? So let's recall that when the brothers previously appeared before him, before Joseph, he spoke through an interpreter. After all, the brothers spoke their native Hebrew, and Joseph, after receiving the translation, would respond in the Egyptian dialect of the day. But when he spoke to them this time, he spoke be'ivrit, in Hebrew. Ani Yosef, ha'od Avichai. I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? Joseph deliberately spoke those 5 famous, memorable words in Hebrew. So what was the proof positive? That he was indeed Joseph, son of the patriarch Jacob, son of the land of Israel, that he wasn't Sephanat Paneah, the son of the Nile and the son of the land of Egypt. He spoke to his brothers Be'ivrit in Hebrew. So after all his years away from his true ancestral home, Joseph, viceroy of Egypt, never forgot his authentic linguistic roots. Hebrew wasn't a foreign language for him, in a way, quite frankly, that it is for all too many of us. It was for him Mamaloshan. It was the language of his father Jacob, and of his grandfather Isaac, and of his great-grandfather Abraham. The language that was suffused with the pain and with the promise of his people. The language that was invested with the heartache and the heart's desires of his people. The language, in other words, that was vouchsafed to him as a morasha, as an inheritance. The language that was none other than Lashon Kodesh, Lashon HaKodesh, the holy tongue, namely the language of Torah. I humbly submit to you that wherever we go in this world, literally, as many of us can attest to, wherever we go in this world, the one common denominator that unites Jews and Jewish communities is none other than the Hebrew language. We've witnessed that for ourselves, time and again. From Abington to Athens, from Huntington Valley to Havana, from Abington to, I mentioned that already, from Philadelphia to Pretoria, we are inextricably bound together by an ancient tongue that has miraculously transformed itself. The only language that I'm aware of, an ancient language, that has totally and completely revitalized and renewed itself into a vibrant modern language. I know of none other. It's hard to believe, my friends, but Jewish demographers claim that within the next 20 to 30 years, Hebrew will be the lingua franca, the first language of the majority of the almost 15 million Jews in the world. It's really astounding when one considers the fact that before the establishment of the State of Israel, just over 73 years ago, the very thought, listen to this if you would, the very thought of Hebrew becoming a revived, reinvigorated, and modern spoken language would have been simply unthinkable, inconceivable, unimaginable. And yet, I humbly submit that one of the great challenges of serious, thoughtful Jewish life today is to go beyond what we refer to, if you like, as the peshat, beyond the simple, the plain meaning of the biblical Hebrew words. And rather it's to try and to understand the very depths from which these eternal words derive. Reading and or speaking Ivrit, Hebrew, the ancient and the modern language of the Jewish people is, I really believe, it also is to feel the ecstasy and the agony, the joy and the sorrow, the pain and the privilege, the triumph and the tragedy that has marked the long history of a proud people. The promise of a rich heritage to which you and I belong, and to which, whether you like it or not, and whether you are ready or not, you are inextricably bound. So from Joseph's stunning, shocking declaration, unexpected, before his siblings, to, if you like, Golda Meir's reluctance and hesitation before her colleagues. May we all come to, because it's never too late. It's never too late. May we all come to appreciate the beauty, the pageantry, the values, and ultimately the vision of Lashon Ivrit, of the Hebrew language. So I want to conclude my informal, brief remarks this evening, this Erev Shabbat, with a challenge. So you know as well as I do that we're approaching now, inevitably, the end of another secular year. Thank God. And of course, with the end of a secular year, often comes resolutions, right, of one kind or another. Resolutions which invariably we don't keep and we break. But perhaps, Betham, from a Jewish linguistic point of view, there is one resolution that you might want to make and keep for yourself. And it would be my pleasure, it would be my privilege to help you along the way. So here's my sincere invitation to you and, of course, obviously, to our fellow Bethomnics who are with us on live stream as well this evening. And I mention it, by the way, you are the first to hear it, for what it's worth. I mention this for the first time from the pulpit tonight. I want to introduce you slowly, systematically, methodically to Otiot Ivrit. In other words, to the letters of the Hebrew alphabet. The 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet that, of course, you and I are familiar with. But I guarantee that you're not fully and completely. You think you know your Aleph from your bet? Think again. So my invitation to you, my fellow Bethomnics, is to join with me, venue, date, times, TBD, still to be determined, but to join with me on a journey, the likes of which I'm not sure, and I feel very guilty and very embarrassed about this, that I'm not sure that I've presented here at Betham before, but a very specific and a very particular linguistic journey to unravel the mystery and the, if you like, not only the physical shape, but more importantly, the metaphysical shapes, the Kabbalistic properties of each of the letters in the Hebrew alphabet. Necessarily, of course, beginning with the Aleph. And if you come to my class, my initial class on the Aleph, I guarantee you, I'm saying this as humbly as I can, I guarantee you, you will never, ever look at the Aleph ever again in the same way. Now, I also need to tell you what this class is not. So if you want to become at all proficient in reading Hebrew, that's not the class that I'm offering. If you want to learn modern conversational Hebrew, that's not the class that I'm giving. If you want to learn the letters and the vowels of the Hebrew alphabet, we ain't going there. Yes, of course we are, in a certain way. But that's not the class either. This is a highly specific, focused class that is going to unpack and unravel the magic and the mystery of each successive letter in the Hebrew alphabet, but again, necessarily, beginning with the Aleph. So there it is. That's it. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to have, I don't know if there'll be any takers. I don't know. But based on what I've shared with you this evening, if there's any interest, would you please do me a favor, Monday or next week, if you would call the office, you can speak to Monica or Stacy or to Jackie, and simply give them your name. That's all. I'm only looking for names seriously interested in this particular course? And then I'll get back to you with some more details. Rini. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you had a question. My apologies. Mikey. What? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry.
Your first class.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, so I've got two. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Lou, you as well? Mark. Will this be one? Okay, so it's a very good question. I don't know yet. I personally would like to have it in person, but we'll decide. If needs be, we might have to resort to Zoom, as of course we do on Shabbos morning and Sunday morning as well. That's still to be decided. Okay. Yeah, I know what the preference is for many of you, and I respect that. I certainly do. But let's see who's interested first. Mr. IPP?
That was the test.
Yes. Exactly. That's right. So now truth be told, I had the privilege a couple of years ago of having taught a course in the, I think it's called the Community Scholars Program. It doesn't exist anymore at Gratz College. And I had a number of people from, up and down the old York Road corridor, from a number of the shuls, and it was a wonderful exploration, and I hope that they enjoyed it in retrospect. And I kind of have misgivings and feel guilty that I don't believe I've ever explored that with my own fellow Bethomnics. So that's it in a nutshell, okay? Remember what this class is. It's a very detailed, and I have to admit, exhaustive exploration of each letter in the Hebrew alphabet, beginning with the Aleph. Oh, stop while I'm ahead. All right. So that's it. I mean, if you have any questions, you can ask me afterwards. But if you are interested, seriously, genuinely interested, then please submit your name to the office if you would. Okay? And I hope we might have an opportunity to go ahead. All right, there it is. You think you know your Aleph from your bet? Think again. Think again. Okay, folk. Enough said. Aleinu, page 282, second Hebrew paragraph. Faye, Rebecca, Andy, and Jay, if I can call upon the four of you to please step forward for Aleinu, the ark opening. Please, you're more than welcome to do that. Thank you. We'll see. I don't know if there are any customers. I don't know. Page 282, Aleinu. Faye. page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, and in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more, and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives, we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and of death, but one also of light and of life. Page 295. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Sally Grossman, Barbara, our thoughts are with you, with Dad, and with Stacy and all of your loved ones at this time. Jerry Robin, Paula, our loving thoughts are with you and Debbie and all of your loved ones. And Philip Weinberg. Dear Terry, on behalf of your fellow Bethomnics, we extend our deepest sympathy to you and to Sid and to Zach. Please know that we're thinking of you and Eileen and all your loved ones at this time. And we thank your friends, your very good, dear, close friends, for surrounding you this evening. We also call to mind this particular Shabbat Wilma Barron, Alfred Bartwink, Ian Berg, Jack Clark, Mo Deutsch, Rose Feldman, Shachna Friedman, Lillian Fulmer, Erwin Ginsberg, Rosalind Glickman, Solomon Z. Goldberg, Naomi Goodman, Saul Katzman, Helen Kramer, Morris Krasenstein, Grajna Gosteka Langenfeld, Hyman Lovitz, Thelma Markovitz, Julia Nicole Marder, Jules Matiso, Ariel Nahim, Abraham Joseph Plone, Lillian Plone, Joseph Portnoy, Anne Rhodes, Tanya Romoff, Charles Rosengarten, Jeanette G. Silverman, William Smarikan, Harold Sokolow, Evelyn Stern, Murray K. Terrace, Herbert Uram, Abraham Waldman, Isaac Wiener, and Edgar Weiss, whose yahrzeit occurred during the course of this past week, and all those other dear ones whom we now remember with tender affection. Together, as always, with the 6 million of our martyred brethren who perished in the Shoah, and all those who gave their lives and who continue to give their lives in defense of Midnat Yisrael, the state of Israel, and of these United States. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. Kaddish, page 294. Yit gadal v'yit gadash shmei rabba, amen. Bioma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon, u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau fisman kariv v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mavrach li'olam u'lalmei u'lamaya. Hit barach v'yishtabach v'yit po'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar v'yit taleh v'yit halal. Shmei d'kudesha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran ba'olma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. May there be abundant peace from heaven, and life for us and all Israel, to which we say, amen. And may the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. It's our pleasure to call upon our congregational president, Josh Posnan, to extend greetings and announcements at this time. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Rabbi. So, tomorrow morning we'll have Torah study at 9 a.m. Immediately following that will be the peer-led service at 10. There will be no Pirkei Avot class with Rabbi Lieb this weekend. Class will resume on the 19th. There is a 75th anniversary planning meeting on Tuesday, December 14th at 7 p.m. Anyone is welcome to join to come and contribute to planning this milestone in Beth Am's history. Let's all go to the movies. December 18th is movie night. Ice Age will be playing for the kids with Bafti in one room, and the adults will have their own movie in another room watching Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights. We need all of you to send in at least one recipe for the 75th anniversary cookbook. Right now, they're at about 170 recipes, which I think is pretty good. They're shooting for 300 for our multi-generational cookbook commemorating our 75th anniversary. They're planning on publishing the cookbook this coming year and having a a live tasting event, hopefully in the spring. So don't miss it. Get your recipes in. I know I want to taste them. The Sisterhood Mahjong continues on Wednesday nights. Social Action is continuing to collect coats, gloves, hats, scarves through the end of December. The bins are at the back door, as well as bins for our regular food pantry collections. Hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend, and Shabbat Shalom.
Randy, get those recipes in. I told you already. Get them in. Adon Olam, page 321. And then if you have time to join us for Kiddush and Motzi out in the main lobby, we'd love to meet and greet you there. 321, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra La'et Nasa V'chefzo Kol Azoy Melech Shemo Nikra Azoy Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kiflot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Baruch Haya, Baruch Haya, Baruch Yeh, Batifara, Baruch Yeh, Batifara, Baruch Echad, Ve'en Sheni, Lacham Shelo, Lachak Berach, Beli Reshit, Beli Tachlit, Beloch Aros, Bechad Misra, Beloch Bachu Eli, Bachai Goali, Batsur Chemli, Be'etzara, Bachon Nisi, Umanosli, Benat Kosi, Beyom Ekra, Benat Kosi, Beyom Ekra, Beyado, Afkid Rochi, Be'etishan, Be'aira, V'imrochi Eviyati Adonai Eli Elohim Adonai Eli Elohim.
Beautiful. For Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories even glowing in darkness, and for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and of love, we offer thanks and blessing, O God. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos to you and to all of our fellow Beth Omnics on live stream as well. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you, Barry.